Yo, 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 what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Double B Bablet, the franchise player. Joined here by my co host with the most, Adam, according to Woods. And Adam, brother, today we have a very special exclusive here on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. I mean, this man's a legend, bro. He's done everything. We're talking WWF, WCW, ECW, international wrestling all around the world, to TNA, man, and currently with Ring of Honor. Man, the dude has done so much. I remember watching when I was a kid, and I'm pretty freaking old, man. So um, he's a Canadian. I'm a Canadian. I gotta make sure I can give him the super big push, the big plug when we bring him on. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a perfect creation one, formerly of the Quebecers, a WWE, a man who should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, PCO.
Bees.
Brother, welcome to the Roundtable Podcast. Oh, we can't hear you, Paul. We can't hear you. You gotta make sure your mic is plugged in.
Here we go. Again,
Oh, he's
legendary
muted.
status.
Okay, he's muted. Oh, still can't hear you.
Hmm.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break while PCO gets his mic working, and ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back after these exciting words from our sponsors.
Professional wrestling is one of the toughest sports going today. If you ever dreamed of being a professional wrestler, then former WWE superstar and World Tag Team Champion Sir Mo of the famed tag team Men on a Mission invites you, yes, you, to join his Bumps and Bruises Academy. Now in 2 locations in Carrollton, Texas, and Sherwood, Arkansas. Allow Sir Mo and his head coach, Dante Smiley, and other coaches to get you on the road to an exciting and rewarding career. Classes forming now for your shot. Contact Sir Mo at 704-819-7312 or fill out an information questionnaire now. Don't wait, make your dreams come true today by joining the Bumps and Bruises Pro Wrestling Academy.
Hi, this is James Beard with SWE Fury, and you're watching the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Oh man, looks like we lost PCO. It looks like he probably had to reboot his computer. So, Adam, while we're here waiting for PCO to return, the perfect creation one, Wild Carl Wallace, Pierre Willette, the Quebecer Pierre, Jean-Pierre Lafitte, man, gimmicks galore.
Yeah, and it's crazy because there are a lot of people that they rank the Marty Jannettis and the Bobby Eatons and what have you, or their great tag team wrestling. But PCO, Pierre Carl Arlette, the John Pierre Lafitte, is one of the greatest tag team wrestlers ever, and also one of the greatest gimmick people ever. Because I mean, he was a Quebecer, as the way that we saw him in North America. That was the first time he bust on the scene, and then kind of later he becomes a pirate of all things. And I mean, the Quebecer's finish, where he stands on Jacques' shoulders and basically kind of cannonballs careening to the hapless foe under them. My gosh, like, it's incredible. And funny enough, I think it's kind of hilarious that Sir Mo is a sponsor of this show. Not that that it's hilarious that he would sponsor the show, because why wouldn't he? But I think it's an amazing bit of irony, because Sir Mo, as a part of Men on a Mission, actually beat the Quebecers for one of the tag team championships.
I was just thinking that. It's so funny because after Ray Rougeau disappeared, Jacques Rougeau. I'm Canadian, I should be able to say that. Jacques Rougeau went to Puerto Rico and found he found PCO and renamed him Pierre Lafitte. And man, they were probably that was after the previous gimmick of the Mountie, So I mean, the Quebecers were they're pretty funny. What's even funnier is they had Johnny Polo, the man formerly known as Raven. Quote the
Actually, he was
Raven.
about to become Raven. Funny enough, he was a precursor. Johnny Polo actually, uh, like, basically is the predecessor of quote the Raven Nevermore of ECW fame. And it's funny because I actually was super hyped when I saw the Amazing French Canadians. I was probably the only one in my school that was just like super hyped because I just thought that team and there's the pairing of the two, the talent that they would just like infinitely like raise the acclaim of, oh, pardon the pun, acclaim and tag team wrestling. That's never been done in AEW right now. But no, with that all being said, like, so great. And again, it just speaks to the man and taking a long sabbatical away from pro wrestling and then coming back at Joey Janela's spring break and just lighting the world on fire. That, I mean, those embers of that fire still burn to this day, where he's currently in Ring of Honor, where he's a former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion.
Also, former Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion and World Six Man Tag Team Champion. Man, look, it's so funny that we talk about the Quebecers because I remember they had those province of Quebec rules where the titles can change on a disqualification. Um, they beat the Steiners when, when Johnny Polo threw the hockey stick into the ring, and I think it was Scott Steiner picked it up. They won the titles. Then they lost the belts, and then they won the titles back. They lost the belts to the 1, 2, 3 Kid and Marty Jannetty of all people.
Yep, that mismatched tag team. Absolutely. I remember
That's
that.
right, man. Oh man, and like you did mention about the men on a mission beating them for the title. That was in England, and that was the WrestleMania tour. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna bring PCO back on right now.
Can you hear me?
PCO,
Hello.
we can
There he
hear you.
is.
All right, we're back in the
Hey,
game, man.
finally, I got it.
Oh man, we were just talking about some of the Quebecers, the 3 WWE tag team titles. I'm sorry, WWF tag team
Yeah,
championships you guys
Damn
had.
right.
I always go with WWE now because it
It
becomes
makes
too
more sense to me.
complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes more sense to me. And Adam was kind of making fun a little bit because one of the main sponsors for our show is the Bumps and Bruises Academy, which is currently ran by Sir Mo of Men
Oh
on a
yeah,
Mission.
yeah, that's right. I got in touch with Mo a few times. I think it was for the Mabel, the
Oh,
annual.
the big show, the Rumble for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got in touch. I think it was last year, but I'm under exclusive contract with Ring of Honor. I cannot take any
Oh
independent
man,
bookings as of now. But yeah,
that'd be so much fun.
yeah. So I don't know how big is the event or how cool
Well,
it is.
it was
It's
pretty
just
big. It was pretty big. I
yeah,
mean, I worked for the IWA with Sir Mo, and yeah, the squirrel at leaps and bounds. I'm telling you, man, it would be awesome to see you versus Mo one more time.
Nelson. Me and Nelson we're like we were good friends. Like he was a cool, very. I got along good with Mo, but I got closer with Mabel.
Yeah,
Uh, Even when I met him a few times after as Viscera or his other characters, he was
big
always
this
a
and yeah.
very cool dude. Yeah.
What'd you think of his pimp gimmick, Big Daddy V, or what was it?
Yeah. Well, it
Big
worked.
Daddy V, Vince, man.
I don't know his personal life, but you'd be amazed. Like when we toured in Germany, like it had like a lot of girls on it. Like I was wondering what was the secret, but I guess
Man,
I don't know. He
I
was
can tell you what the
popular.
secret is,
He
but we
was
probably would
popular.
get
He
if I
was
tell
way
you the
popular.
secret, we probably would get demonetized on here. So
Wow. Okay. It's that type of show. My
I
goodness.
mean, I'm just saying,
But
Oh
PCO,
man.
I mean, for those who are uninitiated, but how did you get into professional wrestling?
Just watching TV. Just got hooked. Just being a kid and waiting to go play hockey. Watching TV early in the morning. Watching some whole documentaries. One on Edward Carpentier, and was also like a wrestling show that they would put the replay all the time. It was before WWE. It was during the when we thought that it was a world champion, like was really from Montreal. When I thought that as a kid, I thought like the center of the world was Montreal almost. As far as wrestling goes, it was probably like that on every territory. But
Yeah.
Wait, you mean
yeah,
it's not? It's not? I mean, you're talking about a great like Edward Carpentier, which again, when people talk about 50 greatest pro wrestlers alive and of all time, he gets left off, and I don't know why, because he drew sellouts in the Montreal territory.
yeah, I guess he's the one who brought the Giant with him too. So from France, and I he was just he brought the athleticism.
Mm.
He was a former gymnast, and he was doing like backflips, way back. When I was 12 years old, so 12, 13, 14 years old. So yeah, I got hooked on the sport as soon as I asked my dad to go watch a live event, and I knew I wanted to become a pro wrestler. Like right then, just
That's
watching the
usually the
show.
way it happens. Like I remember me watching Roddy Piper. I remember watching Championship Wrestling from Florida, and I remember a feud between Roddy Piper and Greg the Hammer Valentine. It was for the NWA United States title. At that moment, I was like, I want to be a wrestler because that right there was awesome. I want to do exactly what those guys did, and they made me believe that they were totally beating the piss out of each other. Like I was
Yeah, it
like, oh my god,
was.
they're killing each other. I want to do that.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. It was at the time where you had like the white spot also over the ring, and it was all dark everywhere else,
Hmm.
and people were smoking. So it was that atmosphere was pretty crazy, pretty insane. I just felt like I should have been in the middle of the ring. That's how I felt as a fan.
Which I mean, how tough was it? Because I mean, are notoriously known for your tenacity and I mean your strength and toughness. But how tough was it for you to break in as as a youth?
It was tough. It was really tough. It was those years where nothing was explained to you. You'd go to wrestling school. You didn't know until your first match. You knew because I knew because I just knew like I knew it was not possible to produce something like that without some sort of talking to each other or
Yeah.
in my mind I knew the whole thing without knowing it. I didn't know exactly how it would work, but I knew. But I kept going to that wrestling school, and I'd say they'd throw me in a corner and I'd get the big boot in the face, and it was a solid boot. It's all the time. Clothesline, like run into a clothesline, run into a boot. There's just a stiff, always stiff.
Oh man.
And we couldn't start bumping on the ring until like a few months into the school. We'd just bump on the floor,
Oh my god.
get slammed on the wood floor, and or on the concrete, and it
Oh
was like that
man.
for a while
And
before.
these young guys these days, they have a high spots ring. They have about
Yeah.
20 pounds of padding there. And, I've been wrestling
And
almost like, as a matter of fact, in 6 days will be my 29th year as a professional wrestler. And I tell you, I know what you mean by bumping on the ground. I know what you mean by bumping on the hardwood
and
floor. I trained
back
in a
then,
boxing ring.
yeah, and back then nobody would tell you. You would ask guys about psychology. Like nobody was like. It took a while before I got to know like to be involved like on a regular roster and to be able to talk with some veteran and to get some insight on on the psychology. And I had to learn quick because I was put on a spot where I went from not being able to being part of the roster in Calgary for the Stampede, and the next year I was main eventing in the Maritimes for Dupre uh, against Jono and Bob Brown. So it was like spending like almost 6 months in Calgary without being booked, and then from going depressed back home and getting booked in the Maritimes and working on top for the tag titles every day and sometimes twice on Sunday, and just learning as it goes and making tons of mistakes.
Wow, that's incredible. And that's one part of your career that I didn't even realize. I knew about the Maritimes, but not so much your time in Stampede, which I got to ask. Did you ever get to throw holds in the dungeon?
Nothing the dungeon. Just eventually, I kept harassing Bruce Hart, and eventually they said, okay, let's we'll give you like a tryout with just me and Bruce in the ring, basically, just like working a little match together and like throwing me outside the ring, see how I would land and how I would go through the ropes and a bunch of things, fire up and things like that. And after that tryout, he said, "Well, it's only $3,000 for our wrestling school, so I encourage you to
Only
sign up.
3,000.
I encourage you to sign up with us." But I had been wrestling for already like almost. I was 18, so I'd been wrestling for 2 years. Might have been about uh, 75 matches. I didn't have much experience, but maybe 50 matches. I used to wrestle 16 and 17 years old, or 16 and a half to almost 18, like every Sunday afternoon in Montreal. So that was it for my experience, and nobody were giving anything away. I was just a job guy. I was just getting squashed, so I was not learning much. But that's how it was back then. You had to pay your dues and shut your mouth and get beat up, and eventually something would come out. So that's how I was raised in the business, which is
I,
totally the opposite now.
which is funny because
Sure.
Bruce worked you. He was working the boys. Like he didn't treat you as a boy. He was like, well, you know what? We're gonna
Yeah,
probably work a gimmick on him. So let's do
yeah,
that.
probably. Well, they ripped me for a long time too. I was in Calgary and I was going to the Stampede, and then they'd say we're full. Come tomorrow in Edmonton. So I'd take the Greyhound for 4.5 hours back to Edmonton, and then I'd show up in Edmonton. It's no, that's next Friday. We're in Calgary, so they ripped me like that for almost like 8 9 weeks before Kerry Brown said to Bruce, "Come on, give the kid a chance. He's young." So, and I remember like Chris Penn was there back then. Like he was my age, and he was like one of their top guy. Him and Owen Hart, they were my age, and they were wrestling on top there. So I just wanted to be part of the roster, which didn't happen there. But like I said, in 20 years old, I was like, I was wrestling for the main eventing every show, and I wasn't ready for it. So it was just weird the way it works sometimes.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess how long in between, was that kind of entry in the Calgary, kind of Stampede Wrestling territory, as well as the Maritimes before you eventually made it to the WWF.
8 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
quick.
I
That's
thought I
pretty
thought it was
quick.
pretty long. When I got to WWF, like I felt like I paid my dues, from 16 to 24, 25. Yeah, I'd say 24, maybe 25, around that. So
So
yeah,
you
eight,
started
9 years.
you started like 87. And then like WWE, I believe, like in '93.
93. Yeah.
Man, I mean that's still pretty quick, man. That's I mean,
Yeah.
how did that come about though?
Well, I did a lot of road. Like then when I couldn't get booked in Calgary, so I got depressed. I came back home empty hands, and not realizing my dream. Uh, I took some newspaper clips. I did some shows with Dino Bravo, Montreal, so some paper clips to the Maritimes, and they thought I was a huge star in Montreal, so they brought me in, and I was green as hell. So they weren't really happy with what they got. So as soon as they could like let go a few guys, I was one of the first ones to be let go. So it was another not depression, but when you're young, if you have something good coming to you, you're super high, and if you have like bad news, you're super down. So
Yeah,
you don't really know you don't know how to deal with your emotions to stay even keel or right in the middle, no matter what. Even if it's good news or bad news, but you always kind of stay in the middle. You don't get super excited, and you don't get super depressed. You know that's the business, but I didn't know. I was a kid, so when I got let go in the Maritimes, I got depressed when I got back, and then I got my stuff together again, and I got booked in England and with one of my friends as a tag team. And when we got there, we were both on the same territory in the Maritimes. So I told him, Rick Crawford, I told Rick, I said, now we know they're bringing us here in England to work on top, and we know what we have to do, and we have the experience from, failing in the Maritimes. So we got there super confident. And we tore the houses down. And it was at the time where we wrestled with David Taylor, Steven
Yes.
hmm
Regal, David Finlay, uh, uh, all the top names, Tony Sinclair, uh,
right.
all the top English names, like and Robbie Brookside and Doug Dean. And Brookside's at the
Performance
Performance
center.
Center now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we mostly we're main eventing tag team divisions like against the Liverpool lads, Brookside and Doug Dean, and sometimes Marty Jones or Tony Sinclair or Dave Taylor and Steven Regal as a tag team versus us. We were double trouble back then. So from England, we went to Germany, we went to France, we went to South Africa, and then the big company in Germany was CWA Auto Vans, and Chris Benoit was there, Owen Hart was there,
Wow.
Larry Cameron from AWA.
Yeah.
Vader had just been there the year prior to my year when I got booked there. I didn't want to just book myself. They didn't want to take the team, so I had a discussion with my friend, and he said, "No, man, you just to take that break. It's a good break for you." I could have said no, and we could have been somewhere else as a tag team because we were all over the places. So, anyways, I went to Auto Vans, and from that point on, like then Puerto Rico called me up because I was sending clippings of magazines and newspaper articles to all the independent territories that were still running, like USWA Jerry Jarrett, WCW, WWF, Puerto Rico, and then I got back. The Germany tour was so cool in Germany. It was tough, but it was cool because you wrestle the same city. Let's say Hanover.
Hmm.
You'd wrestle there for 60 days in a row. You just stay like a circus. You'd live in a caravan and then
Yeah.
you just walk to the show, wrestle, shower, go out, party, come back in your caravan, go back, wrestle 7 days a week. Like so, it was 60 days in Hanover, 30 days in Bremen, then Christmas time, and then they would start back in Graz and Vienna, uh, in Austria, for the beginning of the tour. That's so it was 4 cities, 6 months, 6 months off, and the payoff was pretty good at the time. I'd say 1,500 a week, so it was decent money. Could make a living just on wrestling, and you could get maybe a Japan trip, after the 6 month tour. So that's why I got called up from Puerto Rico as soon as I got back home in Christmas time, the January 4th. I think Carlos Colon called me, who wanted me to go to Puerto Rico, and I went there, and everything started to fall into place from there.
That's where you met
Yeah,
um
the Mountie. I
yeah,
met the
Jacques
Mountie.
Rougeau, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So let
We
me
met
ask you
there.
this. Let me
Yeah,
ask you this. when you when you guys join forces and you guys start doing the Quebecers, how did how did you guys get around the we're not the Mounties? Like you guys would always say we are not the Mounties,
yeah. I'm gonna tell you
but he
why.
was known as the
Because because Jacques was doing the Mountie gimmick,
hmm
and then because Vince got a lawsuit from the RCMP
oh
that he couldn't use the uniform in Canada, and he couldn't use that song in Canada, and they wanted me and Jacques to be the Mounties, but because of the lawsuit, we couldn't be the Mounties. So Vince wanted to throw like a receipt at the RCMP. So he
I
says, we're
knew
going to
it.
dress you just like them, and you're going to chant the same song, but the other way around. We're not the Mounties. We're handsome. We're brave. We're strong. We're not the Mounties because we always get our men. So it was just to make fun of the RCMP, basically. That's it. It was just about a legal point.
Now see,
Wow,
I knew that story. That's why I asked.
Vince trying
Yeah.
to get receipts on people? That's never happened ever, right?
No,
Man, that ain't
No.
gonna
no, he doesn't.
happen.
He
Not
doesn't like
Vince.
ribs either.
Not
Be a
Vince.
star. Be a star.
Be a star.
Wow.
Now,
Oh
in terms
man.
of like the creative control or what have you, how much did you have in terms of control of the character? You mentioned about the theme song and what have you, but in terms of what you guys could and couldn't do, and especially with this legal thing looming with the Royal Canadian Mountain Police, like how much say so did you have? Was it the max structure, the character? How much of it was you versus creative services at in WWE?
As far as creative goes, as far as the dress, how we dressed up as a Mounties, that was all Vince's idea. The song, that was all Vince's idea. We had nothing to say about it. We just had to go along with it. And back then, they would have an agent attached to your match, which they call producer now, and it give you the finish. So basically, you work from the finish, and you just give the match to the agent, and he that's it, just to make sure that same finishes weren't or moves weren't used twice, and just for avoid things that are repetitive, not to repeat things. So, um, but still, it would happen sometimes that they say Akushi was doing like a wheeler senton on his back, and I do the flip senton, and then Vince go crazy. The same exact move, and then so he was pissed for things like that. But yeah, man, we had a lot of creative on our matches. We could pretty much do what we wanted to do during the match, as long as we would tell that story that they want to get across.
Well, one of the I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling. And of course, there's the Doomsday Devices and the Heart Attack finishers. But I believe that you guys had one of the most visually impressive finishers that there were. Now, I don't know if there was ever a name to it because Vince would just go, "What a maneuver!" But with that all being said, just the visual of you as the bigger, man in your
Yeah,
team, almost the
yeah,
Jim the Anvil Neidhart of your
yeah.
team, standing on top of Jock and then doing that flip senton. I had never seen anybody your size with that much agility up to that point. It was incredible.
Yeah, we. I kind of did a blueprint of me and Jock with the double trouble with my former partner. So when I got that break with Jock, and Jock had been in a tag team with Ray, his brother, but I brought that touch where it was a lot of tag team combinations, like the whip into the floor with reverse and the Boston crab and leg drop behind the neck. That was very, very savage too. Uh, just or would just double like guillotine the guy on the top rope, it'll land and Jock would slam me on top. I would take a backdrop on top of the guy. We had a lot of things going on like that, and very devastating. Some were very devastating, and we were crushing those guys, those extras. We're like the tower was stiff, and the Infernal Tower. I'd land my probably 300 pounds when I started, so my full 300 pounds was landing on those guys. It was pretty,
Oh my God.
but it really got us over. Like we
Yeah.
were really over, and
Well,
that's
yeah.
why I think that's why we got the titles on us because every arena that we walked in for TV tapings or house shows, it was like huge pop, huge like heel pop, but huge, massive pop all the time. So yeah, it was like I was feeling it like hadn't been there for a long time because I got signed on May or June. I think my first TV taping was in June, and we became for the first time when we beat the Steiner brothers, the Quebec rules. That was September 13th, 1993. So not too long after my debut.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, during that time, it almost seemed like the WWF tag team titles were like magnets. It just came back to you. But also,
Three
uh,
times.
yeah, absolutely. But also, you guys had a manager, one Johnny Polo. Any memories of that guy? And I wonder what happened to that guy.
Yeah, well, he became, Raven and everything. He had like his solid years after that in the ECW and WCW. It was cool. It was really cool. I got along great with him, with Johnny, and yeah, Scotty was cool, man. It's just he did his own thing after that. But I didn't have much to say. The Quebecers, I was the rookie. Jacques was the veteran, and Jacques was like didn't want to mix up that much with the boys. Say partying or driving with other people or traveling with others. He didn't want nobody to screw up, and so one of us get fired or get you know
He was
whatever.
covering your butts.
Just you wanted to avoid problems, I'd
Yeah,
say.
exactly. Stop the
So,
drama before it happens.
but it's hard. It's hard when you're 25 years old and you're getting your first break, and it's like suddenly you get recognized all over the world, and in every restaurant or every place that you show up, people recognize you. Every bar, so if you go out a little bit. So I was not going out at all with Jock. I was not doing anything. And when he decided to retire, I mean that I couldn't wait for me to just be on my own and do my own things, which was kind of liberating, but at the same time, it, it's I was not ready for
Scary.
that at a young age. Yeah, the young age like that, being 25. I think it's young. I think it was so young. To suddenly, going from being broke to my first check, I think, for 3 days. I think my first 3 days were the Madison Square Garden in New York, the Spectrum in Philly, and the Horizon in Chicago, and my check was like $18,000 for
Damn.
three shows.
Oh,
So
shit.
I was
Can't pay me that.
from being broke to that, and it was becoming a star overnight. It was really tough for me. It was really tough.
So let
Uh,
me ask you this. Speaking of becoming a star and retiring, WCW, the amazing French Canadians,
mm.
you had the honor and privilege of being in Iron Anderson's last match before he retired.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I knew I've worked him. Uh, was a horseman.
Mhm.
It was a TV match. It was a setup for the Bell Center, the Molson Center at that time, for Jacques against Hulk and me against Big Show, the Giant, and yeah. So that was a win for us. Probably the only win of the year. No, we didn't have much success in WCW.
Man, but being Anderson's last match, I mean, unfortunately,
That's
Mongo
cool.
Michael
That's
was in
super
there, but
cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mongo, yeah, yeah. I've seen some clips. Yeah, that's cool. Mongo, that's sweet.
that was the
Yeah.
politically correct way of saying that.
No, no, because when I was wrestling Mongo, I didn't know he was doing a lot of mistakes back then. It's coming a running gag, the Mongo clips, like you see them all over the place. But I didn't know back then. I didn't know. I knew he was pretty green. He was coming from football, from the Bears, and
Yeah, man.
that's how he
He
got
was
his break and things like that. But I knew he wasn't that good. But
in a
I
phrase,
I
he
didn't
was
I
greener than
didn't
good shit.
yeah, I didn't care. Like for me, I didn't care. No, it was cool.
But
Man,
an incredible deal. He's battling ALS right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just for the time that he was in wrestling, to be an enigma of a character. I mean, we as fans didn't even know he was that bad either until I say Botchamania.
yeah, yeah. Me too. That's how I found out. I didn't know.
Hey, man, the
I knew he
internet never
wasn't that
forgets.
great. I knew he wasn't that great, but I didn't know like he had
You know, it was
so
that
many
bad.
so many records, like they say in England.
Well, you know, the
No,
internet never forgets, man. You can have you can have one bad match, and it's a gift all over the world.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over.
That's crazy.
Now, speaking of some of the, like you said, becoming a single star was, you had been one of the premier tag team wrestlers the world over. But, I mean, take us back to 2016, Joey Janela's Spring Break 2. And
Mm.
you had already kind of, retired and then, came back. You defeated Hannibal for the Great North Wrestling Championship, as a kind of a mashup of all of
Yeah,
your
yeah,
personas.
yeah. I
But
felt like back. Yeah, go ahead. I'll finish after. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
go
a
for it.
mashup of my style. Then.
Yeah, it was like the Quebecer Jean Pierre Lafitte. It was like a mashup of all your names and
Yeah,
incarnations. I love it.
yeah. Well, I felt like I got at that point when I was wrestling for GCW, Great North Wrestling. I felt like I gotta give the fans what they know about me, but I knew in my mind I didn't like that character. I wanted to do something else. I didn't want to just um, just keep on going like that. So I knew I wanted to change. So when I got I wanted to go with PCO really bad because I had been like a TV commentator for TNA in French, and PCO was what got over in Quebec.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot you were on
Yeah,
the commentary.
yeah, I already got over with that name here. So I wanted those letters to sound like PCO, and not because everybody's hard to pronounce my name. Uh, it's a French name. A lot of people are butchering it, So I'm the PCO, so simple, So
Well, I'm
that's
Canadian, so I can.
when I had the match with Walter. So I had those letters on the side of my pants, and I kept the red and the yellow, but in a different way, just to kind of give an idea. Oh, that's fair, okay, But just wanted to translate into a new character. I was at that time. That's what I was trying to do, and that match with Walter was insane,
I was gonna
insane.
say, man, look, I've watched Walter for a very long time. I watched Walter on the UK Indies before Walter became Walter. I got my very first in person look at Walter at PWG,
Yeah,
and for a man who was just so what's it called, plain, no
violent.
frills, no frills. I mean, I look at I look at Walter like this. My daughter plays the Injustice video game, okay, and Darkseid, who's like the big bad guy, literally fights you with his hands behind his back. That's how I see Walter.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a cool gimmick for him. I really like
yeah,
when he wears the jacket and
mm-hmm.
the entrance and
The
the
Imperium gimmick,
salute. Yeah, the German salute. Wow, that's super cool.
man, and the way
I
he
really like
hits,
it.
like those chops. I mean,
He's
you
got
have some
big.
pretty hard chops too, but
Yeah,
man,
but
these
he's
guys
he
are
just
chopping
got
leather.
a bigger weapons. He's got bigger hands. Like
Yeah, his hands are like
they
this.
slice you apart. Those hands slice you like knives too. Long fingers, big hands, and yeah, it's that was a surreal match for me. That was very surreal. It was really really like Rocky Four, like coming from a place where nobody cares about you, nobody really
Uh-huh.
cares about you from the entrance to three-quarter of the match where everybody's standing up in the room, like the 2,500 people, or I don't
You
know,
guys tore the house
everybody's
down.
yeah, everybody's standing up, and a big standing ovation at the end.
Do you feel like the crowd, as you were making your entrance, were kind of dismissing you as this like former WWF, WCW guy, and why are you on Joey Janela's spring break?
Yeah, yeah, it was. That's the buzz I felt. That's how people perceived it on the internet. Like, what the hell? What is he doing there? Like, we
I
haven't seen
saw it.
him in years, in 10 years or something like that, 7 years. You know?
As a worker, I saw it, and I was like, the Quebecer. Wait a
Yeah,
second,
yeah,
he's wrestling that guy. Oh, what the hell? And then like you said, halfway through the match, I'm like, oh my god, they are killing each other. This is awesome.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
man, they are murdering each
Everything
other.
just glued like crazy.
Like
It's just the
from the
perfect recipe for a nice cake, I believe. I don't know, like all ingredients, timing, not timing between me and Walter, but the timing of this match and
mhm.
the evolution of the match and the people getting it and reacting to it. Everything was like just like a movie.
I
It's
mean, from
insane.
exploder suplexes to like reverse power drivers, man.
Everything like springboard, moonsault,
Right?
on the outside from the top, and all kinds of
Jumping
crazy things.
DDTs and all that crazy
Yeah,
stuff, man. I'll
yeah,
be 47 years old, man. I don't do that.
yeah. And then from there to uh, nice entrance in Madison Square Garden, one of the craziest entrance for me, my best entrance ever as the monster PCO, the French Canadian Frankenstein.
Me
Just a
too.
crazy entrance, and
The lightning bolts and everything. Yeah.
it was a long, super long entrance. People were chanting, "He's not human" for along the whole Madison Square Garden in New York, sold out. And I was able to hit all my major moves and get power bombed from inside the ring to the cement floor, you know, on the outside.
That
Side
scared
crate.
me. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Because I've been power bombed on the concrete. I know. Like, I was like, that has got to. And then you just got back up. And I'm like, what the hell? He's
It
not
was
human.
crazy. All New Japan's pro wrestling organization, like the everybody, the promoters or bookers or everybody, officials from New Japan Pro Wrestling were, no, 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 we'll catch you. I said, no, I'm not human. I'm not human. No catch on the cement floor. So concrete, not human.
Man.
So I had to probably argue with everybody for at least 20 minutes just to just so I could go ahead and do it. And Brody King eventually said, just let him do whatever he wants. He's gonna do it anyways. So they said, okay.
That's
Oh
that
man.
run. When you and Brody basically, the lights shut off and you guys were essentially revealed as members of Villain
Mm,
Enterprises. Oh my gosh! Like that was to Marty Scroll and what he was portraying at the time. You guys were a perfect fit, and you wouldn't think those three things, like let's say maybe circa 95, 2001 or whatever, but
mm.
when it happened, it was perfect.
Yeah, it did. It did. It was perfect. Yeah, it was insane. It was like what a pop.
You
You
guys
know,
pulled it off too.
what a pop when I was introduced there, and Brody was introduced at the ECW arena. It was goosebumps. And as a talent, you you feel that pressure that you need that pop. You like the expectations are high. So it's yeah, it's a lot of pressure. There's nothing you can do about it. It's gonna be good or it's not gonna be good. You don't know. You think so because I was referring to my other entrances, like because I've been all over the Indies and it was a pop all the time. So I was really positive about the reaction I was gonna get, but I was super happy to get it.
Now, coming back, right, from a retirement, and you believed that you were going to stay away, but then the wrestling bug kind of brought you back in. And, you as a wrestler, as somebody in combat sports, you want to be a world champion. If you're not in it to do that, then why are you even doing it? So, was that like the kind of ideological place that PCO was? I have a gimmick that is a world champion, or when it happened, was it just something that happened organically?
Organically, I never pushed for it. I never asked for a title. Uh, I never brainstormed about becoming a world champ. I mentioned it on my promos, my own promos on my social medias, but I never uh, called the booker or say I'm going to sign if I become champion or things like that. It was very organic, very very organic. It felt like almost like sometimes I think plans sometimes were to put the title on someone else and things like for instance, let's say my match with Walter. He was PWG World Champ at
Hmm.
WrestleMania 34 during that Georgiana Spring Break 2. I was supposed to lose to Walter. That doesn't matter. That it doesn't matter to me. I knew what I had to do, and I was going there just to steal the show. I didn't care about winning or losing. But the fact that you had dropped the belt in between the show, and it was not the plan, first or original plan, it was supposed to go over. And the fact that that was switched and I got over, and it kind of, I think it gave me an extra boost. Uh, Maybe not, but anyways, I felt it was like that throughout the whole course. Things were happening organically. Things were supposed to go one way, and then it would go another way. The reaction of the crowd and things like that. And I think just the way the title match was on Friday the 13th, and everything just made
Totally
sense.
worked.
You know, everything made sense. You know, everything was put in front of everyone's faces, and that was the only way to go, I believe, organically at that time. So it was just timing, just timing.
Sometimes it works that way, man. Sometimes the door opens right when you least expect.
That's cool when you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to almost beg for something, or
Yeah,
to push it down their throat, and to try to have them do something that it's going against their will, whomever it could be, WWE or whatever company, independent company, whatever. It's cool when it's coming from the company itself. It's
yeah.
really, it's a cool feeling.
So let's fast
Yeah.
forward to currently here at Ring of Honor. Former World Heavyweight Champion, former World Tag Team Champion, former World Six-Man Tag Team Champion. Dude, what is next? Like, what is there left for you to accomplish?
Yeah, it's just maybe selling out the Olympic Stadium, Montreal. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't know how yet. That's another thing where, I feel like it's gonna happen organically, and I think that's something that I'd like. I wanted to accomplish. When you set up your goals, when you start your wrestling career, I had set up some goals and written down a piece of paper, and I've heard that before. Uh, I think Dino Bravo wanted to do that. Uh, have a match against Hogan at the stadium, and then I was supposed to be wrestling Bob Backlund for the world title at the stadium. That got canceled uh, for X reasons. Vince McMahon just lost Macho Man to WCW. Anyways, he backed down on that idea. And so it just kept in my mind because I was that close to achieve it. And then they pulled the plug for whatever reason. And that's the only thing I feel unaccomplished, you know. But let's say if I do my checklist, I'd have like a lot of points that I could put a check on it, that I wanted to accomplish, to realize myself, to inspire people also. Not about myself, but I think it's important for me to inspire people to do good in whatever endeavors that they pursue, whatever careers they pursue. And I've got so many messages on during that run, and still today, the people saying, you know, I've watched your match, or I've watched this, or I listened to this, and inspired me to make some changes in my life to push me harder and things like that. So I think that's very rewarding to just have an impact on people, a positive impact, trying to have a positive impact on people, and that's very important for me.
I love
well,
it. I love it. It's amazing, and you have changed the course of many people, but through your ring exploits, just your personal story, what you mean to your child, and what she's accomplishing because of what dear old dad is doing. Like,
Mm.
amazing. You're just amazing. Thank you.
Yes, cool. Thank you very much.
man, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you on the show today. Anytime you want to come back, you got a permanent seat here at the round table. You can come here. You can, I mean, usually, you know what? I'm gonna do something special
No,
because we
you
got a
guys are
special
awesome.
guest. Hey,
And
thank you,
please,
man.
my say my big hello to Mo for me. Uh,
As a matter of fact, I will do that. This is what I want
yeah.
to do with you real quick before I let you go. We have Roundtable podcast during the week. But seeing how this is a special edition of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, I want to play that game with you. Now, the game is real simple. It might be something you may have heard of in a different way, but we've changed it up a little bit. The game is called Team With, Feud With, or Fire. The rules are simple. You can team with anyone in the industry, alive or dead, no matter who it is, any company. You can feud with anybody, and you can fire any person you want. No excuses needed unless you want to give us one. So, team with, feud with, fire.
Oh, that's hard. To be politically correct, being under contract, that's a tough one. Um, I know I was supposed to feud, not to feud, but I was supposed to wrestle in 2000, I think, yeah, 2018 or something like that, 2000, around that time, end of 2019. Or end of 2018, yeah. I was supposed to wrestle Kenny Omega, so that would have
Oh,
been, yeah.
a
I've,
Winnipeg
I've
versus
wrestled.
Montreal gimmick.
I don't know. Uh, yeah, that would have been cool. I think, yeah, that's something. Uh, I don't know. Team. I really don't know. I wouldn't fire anybody though. Like I don't
Right.
have any reason
Good answer.
to
Good
to
answer.
fire someone. I'm not a trash talker, so
Good answer.
and I'm always trying to see something positive in something, but uh, yeah, I don't know. It's tough for me to say who I would team with. I
I,
I really don't have. I never thought it's something that should come quick out of your mouth, and it's just
Organically.
not there. Yeah, it's just not there. Sorry about that.
I'd
No.
actually like to see you team with your childhood hero, Edward Carpentier. That's one thing that I would love to see. So I'm
Ooh.
going to put
Yeah.
that out there.
Well, that one gimmick that really I really liked was the Road Warriors. I was uh,
Yeah.
I was trying to mold. It doesn't look like that, but in my mind, I was trying to mold my career of a little bit, in my younger years, probably all the way up to 21, 22 years old. Was looking a little bit like him, like Animal of the Road Warriors. Just pretty jacked and was taking some stuff too. So, yeah. When I was in Germany, my 1991, I was pretty jacked. I was trying to be like the Animal. So, but they had a huge impact on the wrestling business. I mean, I just going to see them at the forum, wrestle Bravo, Martel, Tonga, and Bravo. Even King Tonga, I really liked his character stuff. He'd get crowds on fire. So he's like probably 240, 250 when he came here in Montreal the first time, and he became an instant draw. And the Road Warriors, they packed I don't know how many times the forum just by their
Yeah.
names and just showing the AWA clips and people buy tickets. That was crazy.
You know,
So
there was
the
a
first time I've wrestled the Road Warriors, that was cool for me.
there's someone I'd like to see you feud with. How about PCO and the Quebecer Jean Pierre Lafitte
Yeah,
tag team? We're talking past and future here versus Brett and Owen,
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. I
or
never.
my favorite, the man I had my very first match against, Ludwig Borga.
Yeah, Ludwig was. I don't know. He was a character. He was
He
weird.
was a Tony Holm was a very interesting guy.
Yeah, did some movies and things like that. I was right with him in 1995 when he had this big, huge monster push. He beat Tatanka for what? How many years? 2, 3 years undefeated? I don't know. It was
Hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
longest undefeated streak, and they gave it to Borga to end it up. So that was a huge push for him. Yeah,
He was the
they
first
Vince
person to ever
saw
give me.
Vince saw a lot of dollars in that guy.
Hmm.
He was for a while like he really liked Borga for a
He
while.
was the one. He was the first person to ever give me a superplex from the top rope,
Wow.
and
Yeah,
it
he could be
almost
actually a
killed me.
nice guy.
Yeah, he was really cool dude. And I worked a match. My very first match. It was myself and Mondo Guerrero versus Ludwig Borga and a guy named James Boone, the Shadow Man. And it was a place called Rock Around the Clock in Montclair, California. And it was for Mondo Guerrero's promotion. And Borga threw me into the corner and he puts me up on the top turnbuckle and he's yelling at the crowd. And he turns to me and he goes, "Take the bump, kid." And he superflexed me. And as I see my feet go up in the air, and it's, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never, ever, ever been a professional wrestler, I urge you not to try this at home. But when your legs are up in the air, and it's like being on a Totoro, and your feet go up, and you look around, and all of a sudden you see the sky, and then you just hit that boom. Yeah.
Yeah,
And as I'm laying there, he rolls over, he floats over to cover me. And he's all, "Kick out, kid." I'm like, "I can't breathe."
that's cool.
Yeah, man. It was interesting. Very first match, but that was my way of being welcome to the business. And he was a nice dude. He helped me through the whole match, although
Cool.
he beat the piss out of me.
No, we almost got into a fight with him and me and Jock, with him and with the Steiners. It was about some ribs, and they had like that sliced our tires.
Mm-hmm.
What?
When we got
Yeah.
yeah we got the
Mm-hmm.
tires, and the- just sometimes ribs could be strong, and so yeah, so we they put it on Borga, saying no, it's not us, it's Borga, no, and then yeah, we confronted the Borga. Jacques, he went face to face with Borga, was just watching in case someone else would jump in the back, to make protect Jacques from anyone else trying to help him.
Hmm.
And he backed down. He backed down because the Jacques had a reputation for the Dynamite Kid story. So
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
so that was the end of the ribs after that night. Nobody else, yeah, really. That was it. But I don't think Borga had anything to do with it. But he was just his name was thrown around. I guess just I don't know. Just sometimes as a test or to see how we would react.
Yeah.
And yeah, so but I always got along good with him. And other than that little incident, but he said he had nothing to do with it, and that was it. Like it's always cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now that we've done that, are there anything? Is there anything you want to plug? Any upcoming events? I mean, Ring of Honor is just not going to be. I mean, I heard you guys are going to be having fans back soon.
Yeah, best in the world, July 11th in Baltimore.
Hmm. Baltimore. Yep.
Uh,
That's where the
yeah,
bubble is, isn't it?
the what?
The bubble. Shane Taylor calls it the bubble.
Yeah, there's no more bubble now. We get there a day earlier and we get tested in the morning. There's a little bubble, but it's not like before. We were there like 3 days before
Yeah.
shooting TVs and things like that. So it was a long time there. Like 4 days, like 2 days of pre-tapes, 2 days of shooting TVs, and 3 days of just waiting in our room to make sure we're negative. But now we get there the day before, we get tested in the next morning, and the same day we start, you know, doing
Okay.
things like promos and things like that. So yeah, I'll be with fans June 11th, I believe. Best in the world. Um my social medias, they're all the same. Whether it's TikTok or Instagram, Facebook.
Wait. PCO has a TikTok?
Yeah, but it's just
Oh
wrestling stuff.
man.
Anyways,
See, here we
nothing
go.
special. It's not
Now I
just
gotta go
training,
find it.
wrestling stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. PCO is not human, and Facebook as well, and Pure Call Wallet on YouTube, and that's it. That's it. Pro Wrestling Tees. 4 or 5 different shirts. Uh, ROH merch. Yeah, that's very, very easy.
It's so funny because I just found PCO's Not Human on TikTok, and it says, and I quote, it says PCO Perfect Creation One Wrestler has already been a friend of yours because you're in my contacts. I'm like, what the heck? All right, he's following 10 people, just 10 people,
I
and he
gotta
has
follow you now. You
1,700
make me
followers.
you make me feel guilty. I gotta follow you
Ladies
now.
and gentlemen, if PCO doesn't follow me, I'm going to come back on the podcast on Wednesday night and I'm going to bawl my eyes out.
You'll be the 11th one.
Okay.
Yes, I made the top 11 because there's only 11.
Only 11. There should only be one, actually, but theoretically speaking.
Well,
But yeah, well.
I tried to copy Kevin Owens on his Twitter. You know, he doesn't follow anyone.
That's good. Montreal, yeah. Montreal represent. I love it.
Look
That's
at all these
tremendous.
people that are following PCO, and look at this one lone guy at the top. This one lone guy at the top. He's just like, no, not that guy.
The other guy.
That one guy right there. He is so sad at the top. He's like, why isn't PCO following me? But ladies and gentlemen, go follow PCO on all his social medias, including TikTok, because I'm pretty sure there's some funny videos on there, and maybe I might clip some into this video. Who knows?
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, man, thank you for joining us. I know
Appreciate it.
it's almost 10 o'clock there in Canada right now, so I'm gonna let you get some sleep. Like I said, there's always a seat here at the round table for you. Anytime you want to come on, you know my number. Text me and say, hey, I want to be on the podcast, and I'll say, hey, follow me on TikTok. But
all right, that's awesome.
All right, man. Adam, you want to say anything before?
No, just thank you for all of the, pardon the pun, but bumps and bruises that you've taken for us, the fans, over the years. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate the combo. Thank you, guys.
Oh, don't worry, man. You have a really good night, okay?
All right, bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was PCO, the Perfect Creation one. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your boy, Double B Bad Blood, the franchise player, and according to Woods, Adam, where can they find you, man? Where can they find you every week?
According to Woods, literally across the board, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch is where you can get the podcast. Also, guest starring on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast whenever I am not, whenever I'm not jobbed out to bigger names. And then also social media across the board, according to Woods, aside from the Twitter where it's Adam K. Woods, but you search the Twitter machine of According to Woods and I pop up. And I'm sorry for this face that used to look like Batboy.
Now, Adam, I'm going to give you the pleasure of doing Tony's job today. Where can they find us on TV, Adam?
Ooh, Xfinity CenturyLink TV Portland or area Monday at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Channel 11, XFTV, and CLTV. Tuesday at 10 p.m. That's on Channel 22 or XFTV and Channel 8000 into on CLTV. Wednesday at 9:30, Channel 23, XTV, and Channel 8003, better known as CLTV. I'm just saying.
Man, you know what, man? If they want to find us, if they want to hear us, and I had to look at these pretty faces, if they want to hear us and they can hear the smooth jazz voice of the franchise, you can find us on easily. You can find us on Google Podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and everywhere. Everywhere you can find your major podcast platforms. We are there, man. And if you want to do something really cool, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support this channel, you can support this channel by going to That's the wrong one. Let's not go there. Let's go here to support the channel, support this podcast at https://anchor.fm/ the Roundtable Podcast /support your boys. If you got Twitter, follow us on the Twitter machine at the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been your boy, the franchise with Adam Woods, and we're gonna say peace.